To keep your pole, nigga, and I heard you told, nigga. And I ride with my blick, and I'll take your soul, nigga.
Hosted, boy, for sure.
Man, I'm trying to see. You can't even come over there.
Over where?
On my.
On hosted? On hosted?
He smelled the weed.
Nah, just recruited him a couple years ago, too, on stage, nigga.
No, bitch ass. You don't even be outside, man.
Fuck you talking about? Hey, y'all, drop that new nigga. I'm not arguing with no new niggas, folks. I told y'all I treat a check any motherfucker. His ass new. You know, boy, yo ass with the missing tools from AMG, whatever the fuck they call themselves over there.
Police is 4-way, man.
Mac Block. Mac Block.
Hey, who the fuck is this on here?
Why y'all drop one of y'all members?
Hey, who is this on here?
He ain't no member. That's who you did earlier.
Hey, you hear me?
Alright, you said what you said earlier. We ain't gotta talk.
Hey, homie.
I wouldn't give a fuck if you merged on JoJo.
Listen, man.
You said what you said earlier, gang.
You know what the fuck I do, you see what I'm saying? So you better stop playing. You personally, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, dude.
You, Memo, you.
Y'all recruit goofies got them playing with me. What the fuck wrong with y'all?
I told you that personally anyway.
You police? Police, yeah. You police on here.
Alright. I'm talking to you though. You personally, just you. Ain't no motherfucker else got nothing to do. I'm talking to you.
Don't kick me.
Hey, I talked to you. I talked to you earlier.
He said he took your child. I ain't got no problem. I'm gonna take from me. They ain't never said he took it out for Memo personal. He said they took my personal. Right. He said he gave it back though. How did you get your like in the trenches where you like get took and like it don't never come back? You saw me get my took? No, that's what I'm saying. I heard you got it back. That's kind of like crazy. Why?
Was that Steve, brother? Where's bro? Okay, bro. Let me tell you my Memo after the show, because then I tell you this is the only person I'm gonna see and I'm gonna smack. Memo, the only this is another person I ain't doing business with either. Memo and AOKD, they fucking goofy to me. I'm not doing business with them, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm not doing business with Memo. And I shout out Chief Wook. I with real OTF members. Shout out Wook, man. Shout out man. Shout out them because they doing their thing. And I'm glad that y'all took his goofy ass off y'all label because he's making y'all look fool. So look, peace right here. Nemo did this. So after that video that you saw we did, he go to the next day. Yeah. So I'm like, why you didn't say this then? You a fuck. So guess what I do? I go on King Drive. Good Steve, nigga. Hop outside. So now he get mad, man. You said my brother. So, but then he made that song. Oh, you'll be with them steppers.
Yeah.
They get reckless. You know he had to say they get reckless. Yeah. They get reckless. So I'm like, hey, I like that song, gang. So I'm like, I man, I still shared the song. Riding with the shout out Just Blow. I met Just Blow at the airport, nigga. I'm asleep. Just Blow, wake me up, he. Reckless, gang. What you? Meanwhile, fucking goofy, gang. If I sleep on him, I say, all right, gang. That's time Just Blow was cool. Then. What happened then?
Now you talking about Just Blow from OTF?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
That was he would be with Memo. Yeah. So look, I get locked up for the last time, right? Where I do the little time, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm over there with niggas from 600. Memo, they like, hey, Rico over here. Oh, let's see. I pay somebody to do something to him. They got the phone like. He front this shit. Gang, I with you, gang. Like,
you know, OBlock 600, y'all like this. Everybody know y'all from being cool. So when Duke died, we seen you trolling. So everybody like kind of confused about the situation. Like, damn, why is Memo trolling?
They only confused because certain niggas don't do what I do. Like,
yeah,
I'm not gonna sit here and dick ride no niggas and you know it ain't that with them and we got shit going on. Like, you know, it's certain niggas, I ain't gonna say they scared. Yeah, they scared, but I'ma always speak my mind, gang. If we not fucking with y'all, we not fucking with y'all. You can't force me to fuck with y'all because folk don't fuck with y'all. Like.
But what 16 basically said, and he said, I know you seen it, but the nigga said basically the reason you and Money Duke don't fuck with each other because the nigga shot at you while you was on OBlock and another nigga from 600 got hit or some shit like that and you ran up out of there.
I ran up out of there?
That's what I heard from 16. And the shit got a lot of views, so it looked like
it was true.
That's what they saying. And then when you add in like, damn, so Money Duke and Memo had beef, because I used to see y'all go at it on Clubhouse a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But like, I didn't know it was to that extent or whatever. I don't know what happened. But when you hear 16 say that, and then you doing the trolling online,
it look like it's
it, you know what I'm saying? It look like it add up a little bit.
Basically.
Yeah,
basically.
So you on Duke's situation wasn't no shit, cause you praise E-Dog a lot. So I figured like E-Dog could have been a nigga that could have stepped in and kind of patched shit up.
But he didn't do enough to prevent what's going on.
Memo600, The Confession Tapes, The Novelization. Part 1. The Original Sin, Chapter 1. The Geography of Grief.
To understand the volatile, fractured architecture of Melvin Memo600 Griffin, you cannot simply look at the man as he exists today. A clubhouse agitator with a penchant for flashing cash and burning bridges with the very people who built him. You must first look at the soil that grew him. You must look at the specific grid coordinates of Chicago's Southside that became less of a neighborhood and more of a sacrificial altar for his bloodline. The story does not begin with a rap deal. It begins with a map. Specifically, it begins on the stretch of East 59th and 60th Streets, running between South Michigan Avenue and South Indiana Avenue. To the city planners and the GPS satellites, this is just another block in the Washington Park community area. But to Memo, and to the hundreds of young men who would eventually tattoo the name onto their skin, this is Steve Drive. Most people assume Steve Drive is a moniker for a gang, a brand, a label for music videos. It is those things, but before it was a brand, it was a tombstone. The renaming of that block was not an act of vanity. It was an act of grief. It was the only way a group of teenagers knew how to immortalize Lil Steve, Memo's older brother, who was gunned down on those very concrete slabs. When Rondo No. 9 later released the track, Steve Drive, he wasn't just making a song. He was performing an urban baptism, washing the street in the name of the fallen. But for Memo, the Steve legacy wasn't just about a street sign, it was about a curse. The curse of being the one left behind. The curse of the survivor's guilt that would curdle over a decade into the imposter syndrome that Capone would later weaponize against him. Chapter 2. The Passenger Seat, The Anatomy of Betrayal. Before the bullets flew in 2014, Memo had already learned a hard lesson about the difference between brotherhood and survival. It is a story he rarely told until much later, a story that serves as the psychological Rosetta Stone for his entire persona. It was 2009, or perhaps late 2010. Memo was 16 years old, on the cusp of 17. His younger brother, Stephen Lil Steve McGee, was only 11 or 12, though his reputation in the streets already aged him by a decade. In the hierarchy of the block, age didn't matter as much as heart, and Steve had heart.
I got the stamina. Steve pulled up in a car. To a 16-year-old Memo, this wasn't just transportation, it was freedom. It was mobility in a neighborhood designed to keep you static. Steve looked at him and said a phrase that Memo would remember for the rest of his life. I got the stamina. It was street shorthand for the ability to hotwire, to take, to move.
Memo, trusting the hierarchy of reputation over the logic of safety, got into the passenger seat. They drove to a park near their residence, the engine humming with the thrill of theft. But the joyride was short-lived. The flashing blue lights of a Chicago police cruiser illuminated the interior of the vehicle, freezing the moment in time. In that split second, the code of the streets was tested. And in that split second, the code failed Memo. Steve, the leader, the future namesake of the block, didn't hesitate. He opened the driver's side door and vanished into the gangways of the neighborhood. He ran. He left his older brother sitting in the passenger seat of a stolen vehicle to face the officers alone. Memo didn't run. He didn't snitch. He took the cuffs. He was charged with criminal trespass to a vehicle, a standard charge for a Southside teenager caught in a stolen car. But the true horror of the situation wasn't the arrest. It was what happened next. As Memo sat in the precinct, the detectives' questions shifted. They weren't just asking about the car, they were asking about where it came from. The vehicle had been traced back to a residential property. When police arrived at that house to investigate the theft, they found something far worse than a broken window or a tossed bedroom. They found a dead body inside the home. The realization hit Memo like a physical blow. He wasn't just sitting in a stolen car, he was sitting in a rolling piece of evidence from a potential murder scene. The keys had been taken from a house where a life had ended. Steve had fled not just to avoid a joyriding charge, but to distance himself from a corpse.
Memo took the weight. He sat in the cell, processing the betrayal. He could hear his brother, who had eventually been rounded up, crying in a cell 3 doors down. And Memo cried too. He admits this now, years later, stripping away the tough exterior. Hell yeah, I ain't gonna sit here and say I ain't. I cried before. My first time in jail, I'm still in that bitch crying.
This was the Steve effect. It taught Memo that loyalty in the 600 universe was a one-way street. You sacrifice for the reputation, even if the reputation runs away and leaves you in handcuffs linked to a dead body.
So then you don't with him to the death.
So even though like, you 600 and OBlock, y'all got like this long history of like being the brothers and shit. You don't. Damn.
Yeah.
It's the internal politics is kind of interesting because I think I heard you say or someone else say that like didn't King Von like knock out Duke back in the day and stuff. So
that's where this stemmed from, right? Yeah. That's where a lot of it. You said that King Von, y'all was in Iowa. King Von punched Money Duke in the face because he was showing out in front of some hoes and he knocked him out in front of the hoes and took his pipe.
Yeah.
And you was there to see that?
No.
You just heard about it?
I ain't no heard. I basically was there, but I wasn't there.
Yeah.
It's true.
And that's where you and Duke.
You know it's true. Did he deny it?
I ain't see him deny it.
He did interviews with, what was that, Cam? Somebody. He didn't deny it.
Capone, probably.
He didn't deny it, but he just said, oh man, Memo's just Memo. Like,
But let me ask you, what y'all had problems stemming before that for you to even go online to say that?
Yeah.
Is somebody's phone buzzing like super?
I think it's the fan.
You hear that?
No, that's somebody's phone.
No, somebody's phone.
It's not me.
Yeah. Damn. If it's not anybody here, then sorry.
Oh, that was mine. That's Cash App.
Oh, okay. It was like the weirdest, longest buzz I ever heard.
That's much.
Oh shit, he's just getting rich over here.
Hey, talking about cha-ching, man. I see the watches. I'm a big watch guy, man. You've been shining with the Protect.
Paddock.
Jeez.
That's my brother brand. He just made his watches.
Oh, for
that's
real?
fire. Okay.
That one looks expensive as fuck.
Yeah, that one's looking like
got him in all colors.
6 figures.
Yes, sirski.
I might need one of those, bro.
Yes, sirski.
I might need to take that.
So have you always been into watches?
Hold on, we ain't finna skip over this dude shit right there.
Yeah, I've always been.
We ain't finna skip over this quick. So look, come on, man. Like, all the history y'all got with OBlock and shit. What's the conversations going on behind the scenes?
I mean, it's some of my people feel like, all right, this bro now, we've been around him forever. How could you just say that? Ooh,
yeah.
But how could you say the situation? Like, if y'all saying that's true that he shot one of my peoples, then that means you don't give a about your own people if you agreeing to that shit.
So there's kind of an understanding amongst why you doing what you're doing.
Yes, sir. 100%.
But there's probably a lot of people that you don't care for that you're not vocal about. It's like, well, I don't know, but I'm sure. Vocal. I just assume that there's other people that you don't get along with but to a lot of people, like, were you talking about Duke before he passed?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I wasn't really tuned into that.
Yeah.
It was the first crack in the foundation. The first time Memo learned that to be 600 meant to be the one left holding the bag. Chapter 3. The Ghost of September 19th. The trauma of the stolen car was only the prologue. The real fracture occurred on September 19th, 2011. It was a Monday. The summer heat in Chicago was breaking, giving way to the gray, flat skies of autumn. At 5:50 p.m. on the 6,000 block of South Prairie Avenue, territory that feels like a fortress to those inside and a death trap to those outside, Stephen Lil Steve McGee was walking. He was 15 years old. In the suburban imagination, 15 is a child. In the drill ecosystem of Washington Park, 15 is a combatant. Two figures emerged from an alley. They didn't speak. They fired. The shots rang out, echoing off the brick 2 flats. Ambulance 38 was dispatched. They scooped Steve off the pavement and rushed him to John H. Stroger Jr. Hospital, the same trauma center that would later treat seemingly half of the drill scene. At 6:35 p.m., Lil Steve was pronounced dead. For the police, it was a statistic. For 600, it was the moment Steve Drive was born. But for Memo, it was the moment the scrap narrative began. A psychological torture device that would run on a loop in his head for the next decade. In the streets, silence is rare. Gossip travels faster than fiber optics, and the name that bubbled up from the gutters regarding Steve's death was Brian Scrap Weekly, a member of the rival set MOB, Mind on Business. MOB and 600 are neighbors in the geography of the Southside, but they are worlds apart ideologically. The war between them is personal, intimate, and hateful. The street narrative, confirmed by voices like Tay Capone and FBG Buddha in later years, though never validated by a judge in a courtroom, was that Scrap was the one who pulled the trigger. But the tragedy for Memo wasn't just that his brother was killed, it was that the alleged killer beat the case. There is a specific kind of agony reserved for the family members of victims who have to watch the alleged perpetrator walk free. It is a slow-motion poison. For years, Memo had to exist in a world where Scrap was not only alive, but active.
Motherfucking war, my youngest booty ass like some motherfucking chore. That chopper hit you open up like a door. I am MOB is running through my pores.
Might well bend down a little bit. Just bend down a little bit.
What you mean, like this?
Yeah, a little more. That shit looks slick, boy. Squat the knees, dude.
We done took a ride here. Well, we did without on the East Coast.
Man, well.
You said no ops ever did nothing to you, man. But who was that one individual, bro, that just y'all had to look out for the area that y'all knew would put in business? Just like, you know, like, look, this dude ain't fucking around.
It was all, when I was growing up, it was always MOB. Like MOB and Scrap, Nut, those boys. We had a little crew of niggas that our crew of niggas had to watch out for. Like we was looking out for each other. Like we already knew, like they knew about beating ass roles. We had to stay out for deal Scrap, Nut. You feel me? Like we had to be on alert for them niggas, bro. Like it was rough when we was shorties. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing about growing up with niggas, folk, and then they becoming ops is like these niggas probably been in your house. Like, when you first get into it with a nigga you grew up with, bro, these niggas knowing where everybody, we all know each other stayed. Like, we all still living on each other. Like, bro, Lil Steve was living on my block when he got killed. Like, we grew up together to the point where these niggas could live in our areas. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had nigga T. Roy was living on MOB. He used to walk to my crib every day with 2 sticks. I swear to God, I'm staying on 58th and Michigan. Him and HK, folks. Niggas ain't even know it. Nobody knew for real, cause he knew. Once they knew, they was gonna sit outside his crib. Boy, T-Roy, boy, when I went there, bro, when we really started talking about like what folks live, I didn't even know he lived up. This was some shit I ended up like, you don't live right there for real. I had to go pick him up from his crib one day. Bro, he really lived right there. So I'm like, that shit was close corners, folks. On BD, we always had to watch for MOB because we was going to school with them. We was hanging with them after school. And they block was like, the closest to our shit. And I ain't gonna lie, when we jumped out the porch, they was the one acting the burst. I don't even want to name drop, but there was some ops we felt like was target practice, and some hoods we felt like we just go do whatever to. Then we had MOB. And then later on it became Young Money, and they their own handful. You know what I'm saying? But boy, MOB growing up, we already knew what time it was. And they was applying pressure. Like it wasn't no bully shit with us or nothing. Like we go through their shit, they coming back. Like they coming back, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, boy, we on each other ass, bro. Like I ain't gonna lie, we going through, they coming through. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and y'all hoods close.
What? Yes, bro, walking distance. I'm talking about right there. We can hit 2 gates, an alley, and we on each other blocks, bro. Like, so that's what we all like, bro. We MOB was always like, man, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like they made it. Bro, we used to hang together. Like that's why I say talking to me be funny, cause like I was really a part of that. Like that's how long I've been from where I'm from. I seen this shit flip over 100 times. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a party, bro. Like Duck used to be with us. Scrap from MOB was in there. Beans from MOB was in there. Cleo from MOB was in there. Like we used to hang together after school every day, bro. Like before we started getting into it, fighting each other bitches, we used to hang, bro. Like that probably was 2010. You know what I'm saying? That was 10, right before all this shit got to going. I remember the last winter we had a party with them niggas, bro. It's like 2010. Because we was all, in 2010, all the who was about to become shooters, we was still babies. Like, we was still shorties. We was like 8th and 7th grade, you know what I'm saying? Even though we was already like, you know, outside and guns was around and shit like that. And you know, niggas was playing with them bitches, but none of us had basically came into our own yet. Like we all still shorties learning, 2010. OB was so crazy outside of Cleo. These niggas was like my mans, like Scrap, Beans. These niggas was my homies. Nut used to be at the parties, like, these my homies on Steve. So it's like, when that shit happened, bro, it fucked me up to a point, cause I'm like, damn, bro. Some of these niggas I've been knowing since I was like in 5th or 4th, 3rd grade, like 6th, 7th grade, you know what I'm saying, before high school and shit like that. So it's like, when it went to a transition, it was kind of hard at first. I ain't gonna lie, it's kind of hard. You be hanging with niggas and shit, partying with niggas, y'all losing y'all virginities together and shit, and then y'all ops on King David. That's kind of weird on phone, because that's how it was with me, especially with me and Scrap, for like, he was so close to Mac. He was just around us so much, bro. Like, when we had to chalk him up as an op, that shit kind of hurt niggas. I ain't gonna lie. Kind of hurt niggas, bro. Because Scrap was one of the guys. He was a hooper with us every day. He didn't go to Bessie Ross. He went to Carter. So he was always one of them, but he was just on our block with us every day. It was hard.
Yeah, Scrap got booked around that same time. What was your relationship with Scrap from MOB? I want to say y'all was in the Audi home at the same time. I ain't sure.
We was too, but that was my man, for real. I used to be fucking with Scrap because I used to be down there with my people booking them beans, free beans. You know, I used to be down there with them. That's when they was M-Town and shit. My boy Nut, you know, my boy Nut, we just sing, you know.
Oh, right there, the liquor stuff?
Yeah, my boy Nut, yeah. They're my dogs, yeah.
For sure. So what was your relationship with him? What was his personality like? A lot of people, you know, they gonna want to.
Scrap was cool and shit, but Scrap was a bug too. He had like, he's aggressive. Yeah. He don't go for none of that shit. Hell no, Scrap ain't going for nothing.
Yeah.
He was a smooth cat though, that was my shorty.
Yeah, he was younger than you?
Yeah, that's my boy, I ain't gonna lie, that's my boy. Yeah, y'all fuck with, yeah.
So what was Juvenile like when y'all was in Juvenile together? Was y'all like bumping heads with motherfuckers y'all didn't get along with? Like what was that like?
Yeah, that bitch going up. We was gangbanging.
Type of shit.
Yeah, we gangbanging.
Give us a story or something.
Like that BDK shit, it was going down in that bitch for that boy. Like, you a dude, or you not. You know what I'm saying? You a dude, or you not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, say for instance, I'm from Jaro. He from another GD7. He from another GD7. Fool from another. Yeah, you wanna we rolling this ass up. I always be dangerous, boy. Come on, damn.
When you said that BDK shit was real.
He had to hear the taunts. He had to see the tweets. He had to listen to the diss tracks where his brother's name was used as a rhyme scheme for dead. This creates a state of hypervigilance. When justice is not served by the state, it creates a vacuum that can only be filled by paranoia or revenge. Memo lived in that vacuum. Every time he saw an op, he wasn't just seeing a rival. He was seeing the face of the man who arguably got away with murdering his brother. Scrap eventually met his own end in June 2014, gunned down on South Wabash. In the drill math of Get Back, the score was technically settled. But for Memo, the damage was internal. The Scrap era taught him that reputation is more important than truth, and that in Chicago, you are only as good as the bodies you drop or the bodies you survive. Chapter 4. The Night of the Red Sedan. Fast forward to 2014. The 600 set is at the peak of its power and its paranoia. The war with Euro 51, Young Money, and MOB is hot. The music is blowing up. Rondo No. 9 and C-Day are the stars, the drill savages who are turning homicide counts into YouTube views. But the energy is frantic. It's chaotic. It is the early morning hours of February 22nd. The location is the Wentworth Gardens housing complex, near the 3700 block of South Princeton Avenue. It sits in the shadow of U.S. Cellular Field, now Guaranteed Rate Field, where the White Sox play. The contrast is stark. Millions of dollars in sports revenue on one side of the expressway, and a war zone on the other. Javan Boyd is sitting in his Buick. He is waiting for a passenger. He is tired. He has likely been up for 20 hours straight. Boyd is not a gang member. He is a survivor of a different kind of war. In 1994, when he was just a child living in the Robert Taylor homes, a fire ripped through his family's apartment, killing his mother and 3 siblings. Javan survived the fire. He built a life out of the ash. He worked a factory job in Woodridge packing food, and he drove a livery cab at night to support his family. He was a civilian, a worker, a man trying to outrun the tragedy of his childhood through sheer labor. A vehicle pulls up. It's a red sedan. Inside are members of 600, fueling off the adrenaline of a party, looking for opposition. They are hunting, but they aren't hunting strategically. They are hunting indiscriminately. 2 figures emerge from the red car. One is Clint Massey, Rondo. The other is Courtney Ely, C-Day. They approach the passenger side of Boyd's Buick. The conversation is brief. According to court records and later testimony, they ask a question that is the hallmark of Chicago gang warfare. Are you from the neighborhood? It is a binary question. Yes or no, friend or enemy. But for Javan Boyd, a man from New Orleans who grew up in the Roberts, it was a question with no right answer. He wasn't from their war. He was at work. Before he could explain, before he could show a livery license, the decision was made. 7 shots shattered the winter silence. The bullets tore through the glass and metal of the Buick. Boyd was hit in the back and the left leg. The physics of the shooting were brutal, fired at close range with no chance of escape. Rondo and C-Day ran back to the red car and sped off into the night, leaving the 28-year-old father slumping over his steering wheel. Boyd would cling to life for 2 hours. He was transported to John H. Stroger Jr. Hospital, the same place where Lil Steve had died 3 years earlier. He was pronounced dead at 6 a.m. The investigation into Boyd's murder was swift, aided by the sloppiness of the killers. The drill mindset, the feeling of invincibility, led to critical errors. C-Day dropped his cell phone at the scene. A literal fingerprint of his presence was left on the car window. Surveillance cameras from the CHA housing complex captured the entire sequence. The red car, the approach, the flashes of the muzzles. In March 2014, the law came down. Rondo Number 9, the 17-year-old rap phenomenon, was charged with first-degree murder. C-Day followed. The state didn't care who pulled the trigger specifically. Under Illinois accountability laws, if you
fucking day in that gateway slinging rocks, no 7s, no 8s, no I can't take shorts.
You think this is self-snitching?
You know how I rock, man.
Yeah, man.
Head, man. Man.
Here, man.
You know, man, we got bodies, man.
Bodies,
you know?
man.
BDKK, man. What the man? All them goofy G-boys, man. I'm cool with Pink Savage and they little video shoot. Some little though, you know, man. Steve driving, man. D-Block.
And I'm 2 up. Two.
I'm 1 up. 1 up.
I didn't give a family. Like, this my family, gang. I love his mama, his auntie, all that shit, gang. Like, this my real blood. I went to court, my grandma. I'm in court for C-Day and 9, and my whole family on the other side. You know how you got the family side, you got the defendant side. On still, nigga, my grandma fainted in court. I can't believe you over there with them on still. She felt like I picked my friends over my family on still. My grandma literally cried. It's me and Dirk standing on the wall. Me, Dirk, E-Day, we all stand on the wall, talk and laugh. My grandma walked up like, cried, fainted in front of all of us. She's like, I can't believe you did that. Ooh. I'm looking at her like, what the on Steve, blood. Like, this shit was real. I was on house arrest, fresh out of the joint. I did 3 years in jail. Remember, I was booked when I got right out. Like, 3 days after I got out, their trial was starting. I was going to court for my homies, making sure my homies straight, and my family just got killed, you know? I don't know bitch shit, and I don't know scared shit, but I believe in what I believe in, gang. I got family right now that don't like me because of that shit.
Damn. So it still affected you to this day?
Yes, sir. Cause I don't trust nobody, man. I feel like my homies could swipe me out cause my cousin. I feel like my family could swipe me out cause my homies, like, you know? That's why I move how I move, and I think how you think I survived this long, man? I don't trust shit of nobody, man.
But for Memo, this was the beginning of the original sin. Javan Boyd was not just a random cab driver. He was family. They shared bloodlines. Javan was his adoptive cousin. And the men who killed him, Rondo and Sty, were Memo's brothers in 600. Memo stood at a crossroads that few people ever face. On one side lay his actual family, the memory of Javan, the blood connection. On the other side lay 600, the gang that had claimed his brother Steve, the gang that gave him his identity. Most men would break under that contradiction. Most men would walk away. Memo didn't. He chose 600. He chose to align himself with the killers of his cousin. He chose to scream, "Free Rondo" and "Free C-Day," while Javan Boyd's aunt, Trina, mourned the boy she raised after the fire. He chose the brand over the blood. This decision is the dark secret that fuels his desperate need for validation. He sacrificed his own kin to be part of the group. And because he paid such a high price for admission, he cannot tolerate anyone telling him he isn't a real member. If he isn't a real member, then Javan Boyd died for nothing. If he isn't a real member, then he betrayed his family for a lie.
You called him a snitch?
No, it was Damo.
You called Damo a snitch? Who you snitched on?
Man, they got their little shit going on, you know. I ain't trying to be in this bitch like BA. I'm decent.
What did BA do that you didn't like?
I don't know. I just felt like coming on the podcast, that's what he did. Shit, if you know you hot like that, I ain't saying that man did anything. I don't know what's going on, but
yeah,
if you know, like you was saying, he was on a podcast saying like he on the run for years and shit.
He said he told us that he been on the run for like 8 years and shit.
You getting yourself investigated.
Wait, but he didn't tell it. Nez said that he was on the run for years, but BA, he didn't mention anything about being on the run, right?
Oh, one of them said.
And then a lot of people were saying like y'all got him booked and like, nah, man, people do shit and you not like Smirk or Drake or Future. Nobody gonna really know you until they see your face. Like, oh, that's that dude. That shit could happen 40 years ago and you got on the camera. Don't jump a big ass platform. So people that probably was around when that shit happened saw him like, that's that dude that, and you know.
But you're not worried about getting in trouble for the shit that you did in 2017 for the most part, right? Like if
I ain't did shit.
Right, you didn't do anything. But if it's been 7 years, I feel like most people kind of just figure like, oh, I got
murder
away
ain't
with that
no
shit.
statutory, whatever the fuck you call it.
Right.
They could come up any second with that shit. Like they can come back 40 years later and book you. Like anything else, burglary, robberies, after a certain amount of years, they gotta leave that shit alone. But murder, your ass in trouble.
They told us somebody told on him recently.
I don't know.
I don't know if the interview really helped to hype it up, but it is weird when people put it on.
Memo600, The Confession Tapes, The Novelization. Part 2, The Mascot and the King, 2016-2019. Chapter 5, The Waiting Room of History. By 2016, the golden era of 600 was collapsing under the weight of its own nihilism. L.A. Capone was dead, gunned down in 2013, leaving a crater where the future should have been. Rondo Number 9 and C-Day were gone, sentenced to 39 years for the murder of Javan Boyd. The stars were extinguished. This period, 2014 to 2016, is what historians of the culture call the Dark Ages of 600. The music slowed down. The energy shifted from "we are the future" to "we are under siege." And where was Memo? He was there, but he was invisible. If you scrub through the music videos of this era, through the grainy vlogs and the backstage footage, Memo is a ghost. He is a background character, a non-playable character, NPC, in the game of drill. He wasn't rapping. He wasn't the face of the set. He was just around. This visibility gap is crucial because it forms the basis of the mascot allegation that Tay Capone would later weaponize. Tay's argument is simple and devastating. Where was Memo when the war was hot? Where was Memo when we were sleeping in vacants? He only showed up when the cameras turned on. Psychologically, these years were likely the incubation period for Memo's current persona. Imagine watching your friends become world-famous rappers, Keith Dirk, while you are just the brother of the dead guy. Imagine knowing you have the talent, but not having the platform because your resume in the streets, the savage currency required for entry, was light compared to demons like C-Day or D-Rose. Memo spent 2014, 2015, and 2016 in the waiting room of fame. He watched as the 600 brand began to dilute. New members were claiming the block. The Steve Drive name was being used by people who didn't even know Steve. It was during this silence that Memo decided he couldn't just be a survivor anymore. He had to become a star. But to become a star in drill, you cannot just have bars. You need a story. And since Memo's story was one of survival rather than aggression, he had to compensate with volume. He had to be louder. He had to be wilder. He had to create a character that was undeniable. Chapter 6. The Rebranding, 2017-2018. In 2017, the butterfly emerged from the chrysalis, but it wasn't a beautiful butterfly. It was a jagged, aggressive moth drawn to the flame of internet clout. Memo began releasing music seriously. He adopted a style that was distinct from the mumble rap taking over Atlanta. His flow was frantic, high-pitched, almost hysterical. It sounded like panic set to a beat. It was the sound of someone desperate to be heard over the noise of the dead. But the streets didn't immediately embrace him. To many, he was still just Steve's brother.
That was his close homie. But then I had seen, like, also when Money Duke passed away, he was dissing. He dissed him. He went on DJ, did an interview. So it's like, how was that like for y'all? Like, was Memo y'all homie? Like, did that like make it bad blood? Like, cause he tripping. Like, I said Divine connection, cause you know Memo. I interviewed Memo before. He told me that Vine helped him buy a house. That was his close homie. But then I had seen, like, also when Money Duke passed away, he was dissing. He dissed him. He went on DJ, did an interview. So it's like, how was that like for y'all? Like, was Memo y'all homie? Like, did that like make it bad blood? Like, cause he tripping like that?
Memo was broke. Memo was broke, but you know he disrespected what he did. You know he just went too far with that. You know he could have kept that, whatever he had to himself. But shit, he wanted to do public, so shit. Memo was broke, but you know he disrespected what he did. You know he just went too far with that. You know he could have kept that, whatever he had to himself. But shit, he wanted to do public, so shit. I respect that too, though. I respect that too from you know. I respect that too from me,
Cause I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna get too much into it, but I felt like I had heard like some shit where it's kind of public with that they had a personal issue, but maybe he.
I'm folding them. I'm reading this title. Fold them grave. I just read that title, boy. They got up off you. They say me walking this bitch.
Man, it wasn't no.
I down there up pipe. I come in this bitch pipe out. He duck his shit on Steve. You see it? He shut right up. I know that voice. Hey, look, you hear? Have fun. What? Where you at?
You just want a motherfucker go on YouTube, man.
Bro, what? Oh, Steve, yeah. Hey, make this room with 4 of us in here so I could treat the fuck out of him on Steve, boy. It could be just 4 of us. I'ma treat the fuck out you the same way. On Steve, you dirty as hell. Fuck you talking about. Your ass ain't had a fit since folks bought y'all clothes for D-Thing Day on LA. I know everything. Stop playing with me, gang. I know everything about y'all. On Steve, nigga. On my sister, I know everything.
Merchant right now, he did, nigga. Merchant.
Y'all
put
clothes,
it on your
nigga.
homie right now, nigga. On Weezy, go ahead, put it on your homie.
Fuck Weezy, nigga. What I tell y'all about merching? Fuck you talking about, Goofy? Stop merching when you talking to me. You don't love your p.
Hey, y'all was dirty though. Y'all still is dirty.
Well, yeah, still dirty. Without folks buying their clothes, they ass stupid, nigga, on Steve.
Damn.
And Nook told me that on LA. On LA.
You still ain't merchant though. Okay.
And I believe y'all dirty. This cool, nigga. That's a bitch that be around y'all. Fuck y'all talking about. On my sister, nigga. Get y'all dirty ass out of here. Folks be buying y'all clothes, nigga. I know I was around. Fuck you talking about.
Damn.
I got a fit before. Oh, for them. I got a fit before. Oh, Steve. Don't get on this bitch flashing though like I ain't for real. Like I ain't telling the truth, gang. Cause I always expose y'all ass every time.
But you just said for folks.
On my sister, gang.
But you just said for folks day though. But I'm gonna shut up.
He needed a cosign. He needed a validator who could bridge the gap between his lack of street reputation and his musical ambition. Enter King Von. If 600 was crumbling, OBlock was about to ascend. King Von had just come home, beating a murder charge that seemed impossible to beat. He returned to the Parkway Gardens with the aura of a mythical figure. He was everything Memo wanted to be, feared, respected, and undeniably charismatic. The alliance between Memo600 and King Von was not a partnership of equals. It was a symbiosis of necessity. Von needed a connection to the 600 legacy to solidify his grandson persona. Memo needed Von's protection to validate his existence as a rapper. Chapter 7. The Exposing Me Coronation. If Steve Drive was the origin, Exposing Me was the coronation. The track, which began circulating in late 2018 and exploded in early 2019, was a cultural reset for the drill scene. It was a remix of a CJ track, but Von and Memo hijacked it. They turned it into a manifesto of disrespect. The song is a relentless, high-speed attack on every dead rival they could name. It broke the gentleman's agreement that had briefly settled over Chicago drill, reigniting tensions with a flamethrower. For Von, it was just another Tuesday. For Memo, it was validation. Here he was, standing shoulder to shoulder with the most feared man in the city, trading bars, dissing the same dead enemies. In the video, Memo is manic. He is dancing, he is flashing guns, he is screaming the lyrics. He looks like a man who has finally been invited to the cool kids' table. But look closer at the dynamic in that video. It is subtle, but it is there. Von is the predator. Effortless, calm, smiling with that terrifying charisma. He moves with economy. He doesn't need to scream to be scary. Memo is the hype man, sweaty, intense, trying too hard. He is performing savage while Von is savage. This video established the dynamic that would haunt Memo later, the king and the jester. King Von brought Memo around. He put him in videos. He let him wear the OTF chains. But there was always an undercurrent of mockery. In vlogs from this era, Von often treats Memo like a little brother who needed protection, or worse, like a source of entertainment. He would laugh at Memo's antics. Not with them. There are no records of Memo being an official tour support act for Von in 2018 or 2019. He wasn't on the bill. He was in the entourage. He was the pop-out guy. He was there to add texture to the background, to be the Steve Drive representative that validated Von's connection to the 600 history. Memo accepted this role because it gave him power. It protected him from the mascot allegations. How could he be a mascot if King Von, the ultimate stepper, was co-signing him? But co-signs in the street are rented, not owned, and the rent was expensive.
Chapter 8. The Shadow of Tay Capone, the Rat Allegation. While Memo was rising on the back of King Von's stardom, a sniper was setting up position in the digital hills. That sniper was Tay Capone, formerly Tay 600. Tay is the antithesis of Memo. Where Memo is erratic and emotional, Tay is articulate and calculating. Where Memo relies on volume, Tay relies on narrative precision.
Low end, you dabbled in Welch World, then you was in 600 back and forth. When I interviewed Memo, he was saying that he was in 600 before you, and I was just somebody in the comments said that you was from Welch World. That's what they put on you.
He said he was from where before me?
No, say it again, I'm sorry.
He said he was from where before me?
600. He said he was there before you moved over there. That's what I want to ask. That's my question. You know what I'm saying? Is that the fact of the matter, or what's your point of view on that?
He said that he was 600 before me.
Yeah, and then somebody in the comments said like, nah, cause Tay originally from Welch World.
No, let's eradicate all that right now. First of all, I'm originally from where I'm from.
Okay.
Welch World is not no hood that I ever claimed like I was out there on Welch World with them, bro. Like, my hood always been my hood. I was yelling at Welch World shit and still am because I knew Welch personally, nigga. That's my big cousin, best friend, right-hand man's him, Tay, and Welch.
Okay.
That's how I know Tay too.
Okay.
That was Tay best friend. Take a vouch for this. I never claimed Welch World like the first hood, the first block I ever posted on was mine.
Okay.
And it ain't a nigga out here that could say they was 600 before me that could really claim that shit, bro. When Memo and them moved to the hood, bro, I was 600 already existed, and his little brother got it put in first. So how was he 600 before me? I walked Lil Steve to my block and got him put in.
I seen that. I mean, say this. I seen that on your story time one time when you was saying how you first met Lil Steve.
They moved to our hood in 2010, man.
Okay. Okay.
600 already was invented. When he when Lil Steve came to my hood, bro, and transferred to the Rose, I was in 8th grade, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he got killed my freshman year. The next following year, Lil Steve was on our hood for like a year and a half, bro. He moved in there in the beginning of the 8th grade, and right start of freshman year, he got killed, folks. So, I don't know what, he that's cap. Okay. Ain't no time that we grew up that I didn't never live in my hood, bro. Okay. I was living in my hood. I lived in 6253 South Michigan when I was a shorty, 5 years old. My grandma always stayed in there, bro. I've been in my hood since a very young nigga. I ain't never claimed or stood on no other block before I stood on my own block, bro. Right. That Welch real shit, cause I know Welch. Now don't get me wrong, I'm a real member to folks and them too. When I come up, we shake up the same way a nigga would shake up with any other one of the guys, bro. But the first block I ever played on was mine, and I'm original right there. Memo, man, look, Memo.
He played his role, but it wasn't.
Why you couldn't be savage when Fonan was really out here, them real savages? Why you ain't running? Why you weren't trying to be savage when they was savage? On Fonan. On Lusty, like, bro, I just be sitting back. Oh. Bro, look, this all I'm saying, right? And this why I'm speaking on this shit now. I've been sitting back on Lusty, not saying nothing, for like just chilling. It's all female shit. But every time I gotta say something, it's cause niggas getting involved. Like, niggas like to see female shit go on. I never get in no whole shit, bro. Never. I never get in that shit, bro. I never get in no female shit, boy. On Lil Steve, cause I slap a bitch, bro. On Steve, that shit, I'm a man, bro. As long as the female don't play with me in person, folk, on Steve, she get, man, look, I got sisters, folk. That shit is about nothing. But all these niggas jumping in this shit, trying to hee ha ha, saying shit, all that shit, bro. Come on, man. That don't make you niggas real, bro, on Steve. And that's what make me speak on this shit, man. Motherfuckers all on motherfuckers live to my this, that, and the third. Come on, man. They didn't want to steady keep on LA. This the guy's favorite motherfucking nigga to merch on LA. And be lying on folks. Y'all burning my homie, man. On Steve, y'all lying on him. Fuck is wrong with these niggas on Steve? That shit be boring me, bro. Steve Gray, boy. Look at your dumb.
Julio, stay with the heat.
Man, there was a big thing. M-Thang had went up there on DJU. He did an interview. He gave his little point of view or whatever. Take Capone wasn't really feeling it. He felt like he was downplaying their relationship. It was a similar situation with you. I seen where you said Recipes McAdoo, where you was saying like it was kind of similar where he you know, you feel betrayed or something, but y'all talked it out. You know what I mean? Did you feel Tay when he had responded? Did you see his response to the interview?
Yeah,
you see it? Yeah. So you can't really say if you felt him when he's in.
No, I ain't see it though, gang.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go watch that shit though. I keep hearing about it. Everybody keep talking about that shit. You watched it?
I heard about it.
Man, your goof ass watched that shit. I ain't watched it though.
Chopped it up about that shit, but I ain't watched it to specifically answer that question. But
yeah,
I was on that couch game.
I'm gonna watch it though. I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna text. I'm gonna call your phone and tell you shit.
Wasn't nothing wrong with that response. I'm feeling him. He ain't downplayed. If you say Tay said he downplayed something, ain't from what
you was there. You was on the couch. I'm gonna say no. He was there. He was at the DJU interview.
From what I heard, what I know, what I seen, anything, you feel me? Anything ain't.
Oh, you was on the couch out there with anything now?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I was listening to it. I ain't watching it. I was at work. I was just listening to it.
Yeah, say that. Yeah, I ain't, bro, I don't feel like he downplayed. You feel me?
Yeah.
I ain't see Tay response. I saw what M-Thing was saying though. I saw what M-Thing said.
Still fuck with him. It's all good. It's just it gotta be from a distance. It gotta be that way.
So I'm address some of the things.
Saying he felt like he should have been said that or what?
No, he was saying that. You know, he basically saying that he kind of downplayed their relationship. He was saying that he just had a baby. I'm the guy
he
daddy.
ain't say that. He ain't downplay it though. I'll tell Tay this though. He ain't downplay again.
If that's what was said,
he just said you my brother. Ooh, but the other shit he was saying, that's how he felt. Like you wasn't supposed to say whatever he said. That was his way of feeling how he feel. But he ain't downplay it, right? Cause he say you my brother. Ooh,
if that's what was put on.
He ain't say you my homie. We cool or I know you. Or he say you my brother.
So y'all didn't see it, so I'm gonna tell you what Tay said, then I'll get y'all point of view real quick. So Tay was basically saying like he had a new baby and he the godfather, and he was saying like when he was booked, he was saying like then he ain't name him as sending the money, but he said he kept sending, you know, he held him down. You see what I'm saying? That type of shit.
For you to say that. I heard that, but I hadn't watched it. So look, with that being said, bro, it's an underlying issue, gang, and I fuck with Tay and everything. Don't get me wrong, but. That's Thang first interview, you feel me? Thang new to all this. Thang mentioned one person, and I know it was plenty of people that sent Thang pay. He mentioned one person that was sitting up there with us. Look, if Tay was sitting up there or was around, he about would have said Tay. You feel me? That was Thang first. That ain't had nothing to do with him trying to downplay or that's just Thang first interview, gang. That's all that.
You ain't get one in.
And Tay know that. Tay know that, gang. Me and Tay rock about that before and after. On phone, we talked about. You feel me, folks? That being folks in his first interview. You feel me? That shit. It ain't no downplaying. Hell no. That was just what came out his mouth. I'm
Debo with these motherfucking streets on Lusty, and I tweak with anybody on D-Thing. Bitches, snitches, all that on Lil Boo, nigga. Can't no nigga do shit to me or say shit to me on Lusty. Don't let this internet fool y'all. And all you niggas with these miscellaneous ass snaps and tweets and shit, you niggas bitches on Lusty. I'll let y'all know who I'm talking about. I always address niggas. Ask niggas on Lil Boo. You niggas fight, shoot, whatever. Lame ass niggas on Steve. I just want to know who these niggas be talking about with these Insta snaps and shit. On LA, I get real wild. Y'all know I'm good for this shit. This deal done stopped. Shit just gave me a lot of money. Alright, get on y'all ass.
Scrap got locked up for his body. You feel me? And then when he got locked up for his body, he went on trial and beat the body. So Scrap back out here after killing folks or allegedly killing folks. He back out here running around. You feel me? You know they can't double jeopardy. So every time niggas beat bodies, they be talking about the body like, yeah, niggas know we smoking shit. Yeah, nigga, I'm out and I killed searchers, so they just be getting all goofy. You feel me? So now he back running around. You feel me? Ducking them at the trial and shit. They see one of the guys get on the stand and say that the nigga Scrap killed him and he still beat it. You feel me? So like he really out here talking shit now. Yeah, niggas try to get me booked, you bitch ass niggas and and he out here running around talking shit. You feel me? You say this as you sit up here, folk, with people who done told on the guys, gang, and you aware of this. Come on, folk, you sit like you for real, folk. DJ, you asked me like, is it any other way that a nigga could get back in your good graces after they do something like that? He like, no, ain't no way to get it back unless bro them come home for what you helped the bro. As you sit up here, folk, with who done told on folk and who had to come home, folk, from them beds doing 10 years. And this is what you know. Then to say I dry snitch, folk, because I admitted to being why I admitted to being, folk. He didn't want me admitting, folk, to being nowhere near the scene, folk. Dry snitched on who, folk? who wet snitching, folks? Bro, it's not a from 600 talking to Rondo right now, bro. Not one real one on phone them. Straight other from other blocks. Because it's from my hood, aware and know what's going on, folks. Y'all, you know what's going on, gang. Stop it.
He said you like took a lot of the shorties to slide and got their courage up in a sense from 600. When you heard something like that, how did you view that? Did you view that in a certain way? Like, what was your opinion when you seen that? Did you? I know you seen it.
I ain't gonna lie, I saw it.
Yeah.
I was happy then. I wasn't happy, but I was like, you being a man in that game. But it's too late, gang. I don't respect you for it because what it's been like. On Steve, gang. Not saying I want some credit for showing niggas how to. Some police shit, gang, but gang, when we was fake beefing, you a goofy, you ain't did this, you ain't did that, you ain't from over here, you ain't from.
Oh, I'm sleep on that. Okay.
Yeah, there was a lot of that going on.
Okay.
But now that, you know, I be on some player shit, I be smooth with everybody. I ain't never really had beef with him. I just was, it's just a lot of fool shit, gang. I don't know, folks. But I fuck with him saying that, but I ain't fuck with it, gang, because it ain't genuine.
The conflict between them is Shakespearean. They were once friends. They were once part of the same Steve Drive brotherhood. But the Rondo No. 9 Sedan trial shattered that. Tay was accused of making a statement against Rondo and Sedan, the snitch allegation. Tay has spent years denying this, producing paperwork to clear his name and waging a PR war against the rest of 600. Memo took the side of the structure. He denounced Tay. He called him a rat. He joined the chorus of voices excommunicating Tay from the set.
But Tay had a weapon that Memo didn't anticipate, the truth about the past. Tay began a campaign of deconstruction. He went on platforms like 16-Shot and Visuals and DJU TV, not just to defend himself, but to dismantle Memo's mythology. In the video, Tay 600 exposing Memo FRM 600 and talks ABT Lil Steve, Tay delivers a brutal assessment of Memo's role in the gang. He calls him a mascot. He describes how Memo was never on the block when the bullets were flying. He paints a picture of Memo as a pampered younger brother who reaped the benefits of the war without paying the cost. He wasn't there, Tay says, his voice calm and leveled. He popped out when the cameras popped out. This allegation cut Memo deeper than any bullet. It attacked his core identity. If he wasn't a real member, then everything he had built, the Steve Drive chains, the OTF affiliation, the exposing me verses, was a lie. This insecurity fueled Memo's erratic behavior. He felt the need to constantly prove himself. He started getting into internet beefs. He started flashing money more aggressively. He started talking down to fans. He was compensating for the ghost of his own irrelevance in the early days of the war.
Chapter 9. The cameraman conflict, the crash out. The pressure of the jester role and the Tay Capone attacks culminated in a moment of pure, unadulterated stupidity that almost cost Memo his career. It involved the platform 16-Shot M Visuals, run by a respected cameraman in the Chicago drill scene. 16-Shot M had interviewed Tay Capone. Memo took this as a personal slight. In Memo's binary world, if you interview the enemy, you are the enemy. Memo didn't just tweet about it, he threatened to backdoor the cameraman. In the street lexicon, a backdoor is the ultimate betrayal. It means setting someone up to be robbed or killed by inviting them into a safe space. It is a term reserved for snakes, not soldiers.
By threatening a cameraman, a neutral party documenting the culture, Memo violated a cardinal rule of the drill ecosystem. Don't shoot the messenger. The backlash was immediate. The internet turned on him. Even his allies looked sideways. Threatening a journalist cameraman is bad for business. It makes you look unstable. It makes you look like a liability. Tay Capone capitalized on this immediately. In Tay Capone, on Memo600 trying to backdoor 16-Shot M, Tay dissects the incident with surgical precision. He frames it not as a gangster move, but as a crash out, a moment where emotion overrides logic to a disastrous degree. That's what goofy looks like, Tay explained. You threatening the cameraman because you can't handle the truth being told on his platform. This incident was the first crack in the OTF shield. Lil Durk, the CEO, runs a business. He is calculating, he watches the bottom line. A signed artist threatening to backdoor media outlets is a headache. It brings heat. It brings bad press. Memo was becoming a liability. But as long as King Von was alive, Memo was safe. Von was the buffer. Von was the big brother who could smooth over the cracks. But buffers don't last forever. And on November 6, 2020, outside a hookah lounge in Atlanta, the buffer would be removed permanently. Memo600, the confession tapes, the novelization. Part 3, The Orphan and the Exile, 2020-2022.
Chapter 10. The Day the Shield Broke. November 6, 2020. The Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta. The coordinates of a disaster that would reshape the entire drill landscape. When King Von died, the world mourned a superstar. Fans cried. Critics analyzed the tragedy. But inside the OTF camp, the mourning was accompanied by a terrifying realization. The hierarchy had just been decapitated. For Memo600, Von's death was not just the loss of a friend. It was the loss of his armor. Von was the only person who could force the rest of the ecosystem to respect Memo. He was the only one who could check the younger, hungrier members of OBlock who viewed Memo with suspicion. He was the only one who could tell Lil Durk, "Let him rock, he's with me." With Von gone, Memo was exposed. He was an orphan in a house full of wolves. The immediate aftermath of the shooting was chaos. Fingers were pointed. Who was responsible? Why didn't anyone save him? The internet detectives began their work, and in the vacuum of information, a narrative began to form that would devastate Memo's standing. The 600 guys weren't on point. This wasn't explicitly directed at Memo initially. He wasn't the security detail that night, but the stain spread. The invincibility of the OBlock 600 alliance was shattered, and when empires fall, the first people to be purged are the jesters. Chapter 11. The Atlanta Exile. In the months following Von's death, the fractures in OTF became canyons. Memo was still technically signed to the label. He was still wearing the chains. But the energy had shifted. The Atlanta incident is often whispered about in interviews, but rarely detailed in full. It is the moment where Memo realized he was being slowly erased from the picture. Lil Durk was grieving. He was angry. He was paranoid. The circle tightened. The voice of the streets became quieter, more insulated, and Memo found himself on the outside of the velvet rope. Rumors began to circulate that Memo was being left out of studio sessions. He wasn't in the inner circle photos anymore. He was stuck in Atlanta, a city that was now a graveyard for his best friend, while the rest of OTF seemed to be moving in a different direction. Then came the chain-snatching rumors. In the rap game, your chain is your soul. If you lose it, you lose your identity. Stories bubbled up that Memo had been pressed, that his OTF chain, the symbol of his protection, was no longer secure around his neck. Whether these stories were true or just internet capping is almost irrelevant. The fact that they were believed showed how far his stock had fallen. But the real exile was financial and creative. Memo began to voice frustrations about the label. He hinted that he wasn't being pushed. He hinted that the loyalty Durk preached was selective. This is the classic rapper versus label dispute, but with a deadly twist. In drill, you can't just sue your label, you have to survive them. Chapter 12. The Burning of the Bridges. By 2021, Memo was no longer playing the role of the loyal soldier. He was becoming the rogue agent. He started doing interviews that were slippery. He wouldn't directly diss Durk, but he would throw subliminal shots. He would talk about independence. He would talk about how some people changed. The tension exploded with the Clubhouse era. If Twitter is for announcements, Clubhouse is for war. It is an audio-only gladiator pit where rappers, gang members, and fans scream at each other for hours. It is the perfect medium for Memo, chaotic, loud, and requiring no physical confrontation. Memo became a Clubhouse warlord.
That was his close homie. But then I had seen like also when Money Duke passed away, he was dissing. He dissed him. He went on DJ and did an interview. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how was that like for y'all? Like, was Memo y'all homie? Like, did that like make it bad blood? Like, cause he tripping. Like, I said Divine connection, cause you know Memo. I interviewed Memo before. He told me that Vine helped him buy a house. That was his close homie. But then I had seen like also when Money Duke passed away, he was dissing. He dissed him. He went on DJ and did an interview. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how was that like for y'all? Like, was Memo y'all homie? Like, did that like make it bad blood? Like, cause he tripping like that?
Memo was bro. Memo was bro, but you know he disrespected what he did. You know he just went too far with that. You know he could have kept that, whatever he had to himself. But shit, he wanted to do public, so shit. Memo was bro, but you know he disrespected what he did. You know he just went too far with that. You know he could have kept that, whatever he had to himself. But shit, he wanted to do public, so shit. I respect that too, though. I respect that too from you know. I respect that too from me.
Cause I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna get too much into it, but I felt like I had heard like some shit where it's kind of public that they had a personal issue, but maybe he.
I'm folding them. I'm reading this title. Fold them grave. I just read that title, boy. They got up off you. They say me walking this bitch.
Man, it wasn't no.
I down there up pipe. I come in this bitch, pipe out. He duck his shit on Steve. You see it? He shut right up. I know that voice. Hey, look, you in? Out front, what? Where you at?
You just want a motherfucker to go on YouTube, man.
Bro, what? Oh, Steve, yeah. Hey, make this room with 4 of us in here so I could treat the fuck out of him on Steve, boy. It could be just 4 of us. I'ma treat the fuck out you the same way. On Steve, you dirty as hell. Fuck you talking about. Your ass ain't had a fit since folks bought y'all clothes for D-Thing Day on LA. I know everything. Stop playing with me, gang. I know everything about y'all. On Steve, nigga. On my sister, I know everything.
Merchant right now, he did, nigga. Merchant.
Y'all
put it on
clothes,
your
nigga.
homie right now, nigga. On Weezy, go ahead, put it on your homie.
Fuck Weezy, nigga. What I tell y'all about merching? Fuck you talking about, Goofy? Stop merching when you talking to me. You don't love your
Hey, y'all was dirty though. Y'all still is dirty.
Well, yeah, still dirty. Without folks buying their clothes, they ass stupid, nigga, on Steve.
Damn.
And Nook told me that on LA. On LA.
You still ain't merchant though. Okay.
And I believe they all dirty. This cool, nigga. That's a bitch that be around y'all. Fuck y'all talking about. On my sister, nigga. Get y'all dirty ass out of here. Folks be buying y'all clothes, nigga. I know I was around. Fuck you talking about.
Damn.
I got a fit before. Oh, for them. I got a fit before. Oh, Steve. Don't get on this bitch flashing though like I ain't for real. Like I ain't telling the truth, gang. Cause I always expose y'all ass every time.
But you just said for folks.
On my sister, gang.
But you just said for folks day though. But I'm gonna shut up.
So you and Damo, y'all figured it out yet? Y'all squash what y'all at? Or?
Man, it ain't shit going. I just be speaking the truth. Steve, that's all, blood.
You said a lot of shit. You said Damo was a snitch. You said clothes be looking goofy.
Cheesy,
yeah. Why you say that?
I was talking about Trigger.
What that nigga be wearing?
You see yourself, shit.
I ain't never seen. I don't even know who he is to be 100.
Yeah, just some cheesy shit, bro. Fuck.
Now that you brought up clothes, your dad used to sell clothes. Cause I remember Ruger used to always say on the song, he like something about your daddy
my
van.
Brother did. My brother did.
Oh, word. Yeah. Steve dad?
Yeah.
He sold clothes for a living or something?
He used to.
Yeah.
Never wore that shit, gang. They just troll because they.
What's wrong with the clothes though? Why you ain't wearing it?
They want them official. Some people on Lil Steve, everybody bought that shit from him, gang. Like that Hang With Me video, the P. Rico nigga, the belt around his head, that was the shit from him. All that shit back then. Who the f was affording Gucci and shit back then? Come on, gang. This me you talk to from the trenches live. Niggas be just putting on an image, gang. Like, now they got the DH Gate shit where ain't gotta go to nobody.
Lil Steve passed away when he was young, like, but he had a real big impact on the block or whatever. He had a real big impact on a lot of people because they, they named the block after him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, your little brother, like, give us another story about little bro. Like, we spoke one time before you spoke on him. You know what I'm saying?
My little brother was in what 4th grade. He stole his teacher car, did a hit out that bitch. Police came to my mama's crib, detectives, all type of shit.
Damn.
Yeah.
His
a
teacher?
little boy got shot in his foot or some shit.
His
that was
teacher
in his
car?
classroom. Yeah. That was with his ops or whatever. Hell yeah. They had him on camera. They had him and my little cousin on camera walking with the car. Get in the car. I said, what the fuck?
Damn. So this little motherfucker was wild.
My brother grade or my brother last month. They had his little ass. 4th grade.
Damn.
Detectives at our crib knocking on the door. Somebody he stole the teacher car and shot some little shorties out that bitch.
Damn, that's crazy.
I said, this little motherfucker is crazy, man. I think he was in 5th grade. He was in 5th.
Yeah. So when they named the block Steve Drive, like how that hit you? Like what you was right? Like when they named the block Steve Drive, that was crazy. Like,
Huh?
You say when they named the block Steve Drive, that was crazy. How you view that?
I mean,
he's like, nah, this shorty has a buzz.
That was Rondo. That was all Rondo. Folks didn't play about my little brother. He was with him when he died, type shit.
Yeah, I heard that. You know, so okay, you gave a story about D-Thing. What about Lil Boo? Like, we skipped over that.
Dude, I got crazy stories, like real street shit I can't really talk about. Type, folks want to know comedian, none of that.
Your average nigga, man.
Your memories with him gonna be some crazy shit. Like,
so it's something we can't even talk about.
Yeah, I'm still Lil Boo
I'll
one.
be here
For none of that, he want no jokes or none of that. He gonna treat your ass. I'm still, and I got some of him treating me on Lil Steve. Them the memories I got. I swear to God, I got some memories of him.
Memo, that's
treating
big,
me.
bro. Give me one.
But it ain't no shit I can say. Like, it's some real shit, man. But he checking me like, your ass tweaking, boy. Ooh. Don't ever say no. He done tweaked with me before. I'm still.
So
he would join rooms with rivals. He would argue with fans. He would air out dirty laundry. And crucially, he started arguing with other members of OTF.
You dissing the guys who built you. You burning the bridge while you still standing on it.
Chapter 13. The Paradox of Loyalty. The Free the Guy's Defense. Despite the chaos, despite the beef with Duke, despite the tension with Dirk, Memo held on to one specific narrative thread. I never told. This is his shield. This is his defense against the goofy allegations. In his mind, as long as he didn't snitch, as long as he kept it solid in the interrogation room, referencing the Steve incident from 2009, he was untouchable. He used this to attack Capone again. He used this to attack anyone who questioned him. Check the paperwork, he would scream. I'm solid. But the streets were evolving. Being solid wasn't enough anymore. You had to be smart. You had to be useful. And Memo was becoming useless to the OTF machine. He was just noise. This led to the blackball narrative. Memo began claiming that he was being blackballed by the industry. He claimed that Dirk was using his power to shut doors in his face. He claimed that playlist curators, DJs, and venue promoters were being told not to book him. Is it true? Probably. Dirk is one of the biggest artists in the world. If he wants a door closed, it closes. But Memo failed to see his own hand in the locking of the door. He wasn't just a victim of a conspiracy. He was a victim of his own mouth. Chapter 14. The Content Creator, the Pivot. Cornered, isolated, and with his music career stalling, Memo made a fascinating pivot. He stopped trying to be just a rapper and started becoming a personality. He realized that conflict sells. He realized that if he couldn't get views for his music, he could get views for his beef. He started doing interviews with DJ UTV and 16 Shot M after the backdoor threat cooled down. He went on No Jumper. He sat down with FYBJ Main, a literal op from the other side. The Memo600 and FYBJ Main wildest interview is a masterpiece of surrealist theater. Here are two men who represent gangs that have killed each other for a decade, sitting on a couch, eating snacks, and cracking jokes. They use the whoops ad-lib as a punctuation mark for their shared trauma. To the purists, this was disgusting. It was the commodification of the war. It was clout chasing at the expense of the dead. But to Memo, it was survival. If OTF wouldn't feed him, he would feed himself. If he had to become a caricature to pay the bills, he would put on the makeup. He leaned into the absurdity. He started trolling. He started making content about the fact that he was hated. He became the Joker of the drill scene, chaotic, unpredictable, and seemingly immune to shame. He even went to Baton Rouge and New Orleans, NBA youngboy territory, just to prove a point. In Memo600 explains going to New Orleans, he details this trip with a manic glee. It was a suicide mission disguised as a flex. He was daring the world to touch him. "I'm good everywhere," he claimed. But everyone watching knew the truth. He wasn't good. He was just lucky. And luck, like a record deal, eventually runs out. Memo600, The Confession Tapes, the novelization. Part 4, The Psychological Autopsy, The Ghost in the Machine. Chapter 15, The Imposter in the Mirror. At the center of the Memo600 labyrinth sits a single, devastating question. Is he who he says he is? This is not a question of street credit in the traditional sense. It is a question of identity. To understand Memo, you have to understand the specific psychological architecture of imposter syndrome within a gang structure. Usually we talk about imposter syndrome in corporate boardrooms, executives who feel like frauds despite their success. But in the streets, imposter syndrome is lethal. It is the gnawing suspicion that you are wearing a costume of a soldier while your friends were the actual war heroes. Memo's entire career has been an attempt to shout down this inner voice. Think about the timeline we have established. 2011, Lil Steve dies. Memo is the grieving brother. 2012-2013, the war heats up. LA, Capone, Rondo, Sedan become legends. Memo is present but quiet. 2014, the original sin, Javan Boyd. Memo aligns with the killers of his cousin to stay in the group. 2018, the King Von era. Memo rises as a jester, mascot. The gap between 2012 and 2018 is the wound. This is the period Tay Capone relentlessly attacks. In his interviews, Tay doesn't just call Memo a goofy, he calls him a tourist in his own neighborhood. He wasn't outside, Tay says. He was playing video games. For a man whose entire brand is Steve Drive, literally naming himself after the geography of the conflict, being called a tourist is a psychological castration. It means his grief is valid, but his participation is stolen valor. For a man whose entire brand is Steve Drive, literally naming himself after the geography of the conflict, being called a tourist is a psychological castration. It means his grief is valid, but his participation is stolen valor. This explains the erratic behavior. It explains the crash-outs. It explains why he threatened 16 shutdown. It explains why he dissed Duke. When you are secure in your history, you don't need to scream. King Von didn't scream. Melly didn't scream. They just were. Memo screams because he is trying to drown out the silence of those missing years. He is trying to retroactively write himself into the history books as a general when the streets remember him as a civilian. Survival should be a blessing. In drill culture, it becomes a cross to carry. If you were really outside from 2011 to 2015, the math is brutal. You're a mural or a doc number. To still be here in 2024, alive free uploading, makes you an anomaly. Anomalies demand explanations and the streets always provide them. For Tay Capone's camp, the whisper hardens into a charge. He told. For Memo's critics, the verdict is simpler. He hid. Both are narratives. Both are weapons. Both trap him in the same cage. This is the survivor's paradox. Claim you were active, and the city asks why you aren't in a coffin or a cage. Admit you weren't, and your name slides off the wall of legends. So a third path is invented. The silent mover.
Check this out, Memo. All right, look, check this out. I'm gonna upload a video. I'm gonna upload on my PTR right now. More than 100K throwing up GD.
Gang, what the fuck that got to do with anything? Where that jury at, nigga? Oh, Steve, where that jury? Man, where that jury? You talking about 100,000 and throwing up GD? Get your goofy ass. Lil Steve, you lying, nigga. On my kids, you lying. Big houses, I got a couple of them, nigga. Ask about me. Ask about me. So, Steve, I got a couple houses, not apartments, gang. On my sister. Fuck, man, get your stupid ass, gang. Around the PP, look, gang, around the PPP loan, I had hundreds of thousands, gang. Fuck, I'm doing a PPP for. I won't give a fuck what you looked up, nigga. On Steve, your jury fake. On Lil Steve, your jury fake. Yo, jury fake. Upload that video you said you had yesterday.
Goof ass.
Lumbu, you can say everything you want, but you ain't talking about that J gang. Lumbu, talk about that J gang.
Son, I'm finna upload it on my story.
Fuck you talking about, nigga. That fake ass shit, gang.
Upload your shit, gang. They got you fucked up, gang.
And you a broke ass rapper. And you got
shut the
down
fuck
to OTF, bro.
Man, Ruger, they got you fucked up, nigga. Post your shit, nigga. You got me fucked
broke,
up.
man.
Stay your fan ass out
Let
this
no
shit.
broke ass niggas get you
No
out your
fan ass
character, bro.
bitch ass, poor fan ass nigga.
Hey, Oski, I just told you yesterday, I know you in real life. Don't do that.
Hey, you had none of the page. Your name Chirac, gang.
Photo
Come on.
signed his ass
Made
for
it
3
home.
pieces
This
of
my burner, boy.
He said,
Man,
That's Frank on that burner page, man. That's Frank ass, man.
get back on the table.
playing, man. It's just too
And photo used to be fucking your dead sister.
Oh, I'm out of there, y'all.
Hey, nah,
He on the phone. He on the phone.
Fuck, dude.
Yo.
His ass broke.
By his sister, though, for no.
Man, fuck his sister.
Damn, boy.
No.
Hell no, we ain't know
Fuck
that.
scrap. Man, look, man, y'all don't even take up for him, man. Stop that.
Hell no, his sister, not him, fuck him all the way, but his sister ain't got shit to do with shit.
Man, this the same nigga be talking about fucking everybody and their mama, man. Fuck, dude.
He do say fuck everybody.
I did his.
Put your name in the county, gang. Yeah.
No, so how?
I don't know your case. I heard you had a booty case or some shit like that.
Who got a booty case?
No, just like sit this bitch up. I said that with a straight face and everything. You hear me? I said I don't know your case. I heard it was a little booty case, some shit like that. Folks in them grades. Folks in them grades, something like that though. You know, like stupid.
Hey, don't tell my name though, folks.
Hey, Tay them in the
Man,
chat.
your ass is dirty as hell. Oh, Steve, they in my DM telling me stop arguing with you, Ezell.
Hey, oh my uncle, you niggas doing all that talking. I've been pressing all you niggas. Don't stay pressed. Ain't never been fucked up. Ain't never needed no nigga. Nigga, I always hung around my own
I'm
crowd.
be 100. At least
Whenever I'm in
Memo
the
walls was
trenches,
clean. Your shit wasn't.
hey, whenever I'm in the trenches,
I fucking did.
don't nobody play with me like Memo. Don't nobody treat me. Ain't nobody going to my
Hell
pocket.
nah.
Who
Ain't
in that who
nobody
pocket?
muffing me. Ain't nobody tweaking
They
with
went
me
in
all
Memo
day,
pocket?
24/7.
Ain't no. He just talking. He just
y'all
explaining
not
shit,
even
gang.
finna hear-
You know
y'all
better.
not even finna hear motherfucker call me goofy. How
You
y'all
heard me, Ross?
getting called goofy.
Yeah.
Fuck
Hey,
y'all
baby, Go
talking
said
about.
you a corn man.
Oh, let's see. They in my DM telling me stop arguing with his goofy ass.
Me,
Hey, baby, Go then he said you a fucking corn man, Ezell.
Hey, all y'all
No, the
real
fuck we not.
You say what? Man, y'all ass peons with money, man.
Tay on here said you a fucking
What you is?
Hey, Memo, you my brother, so I ain't gonna go on you.
I was just for this tweak on folks of
Y'all
grade.
stop playing with me.
The behind-the-scenes general. Present. Pivotal. But conveniently unfilmed. Except this is the internet age. The algorithm is the archivist. We have tweets, we have vlogs, we have tour footage, we have studio timestamps, we have 6-year stretches where the only thing louder than the gunshots was your absence. That gap is where the cognitive dissonance lives. Every live stream turns into cross-examination. Every Clubhouse room is a deposition. Every interview becomes a courtroom where the jury is anonymous and permanent. You can't beat the case because the charge isn't legal. It's existential. So the performance intensifies. The artifacts multiply. A new anecdote. A blurred screenshot. A rumor you can't prove but can't ignore. The timeline must be rewritten in real time. Stitch yourself into the fabric after the quilt is finished. But the thread keeps snapping. Because survival demands a cost. Gratitude in private, humility in public. Clout demands another cost. Volume bravado, a refusal to concede even obvious contradictions. Those two invoices arrive on the same day. Here's the ugly truth. In a culture that canonizes sacrifice, living long enough to tell your side will always look like a confession. And the longer you talk, the more the silence from 2012 to 2018 echoes behind every sentence. So Memo stands at the intersection of myth and metadata, trying to signal left and right at the same time, praying no one notices the car never moved. Cut the music. Hold on the empty street. Sodium lights hum. No footsteps, no voices. Just the city, remembering. Fade to black. Hold on the same empty street. The hum doesn't stop, it just changes key. In drill, Leaders aren't elected, they're survived into. Dirk becomes the voice, the father figure. He turned funerals into fuel, grief into global. He controls the stage time. He controls the cosigns. He controls the playlists, the oxygen. For Memo, that oxygen is the difference between relevance and silence, between being Memo600 and just Memo from 60th. That's the trauma bond. The man who rescued you from the fire also holds the only fire escape. You can't leave without falling. You can't stay without burning. Watch the cadence in that interview. I ain't never did nothing to nobody. I stayed loyal. Praise in the setup, resentment in the punchline. Bro in one breath, betrayal implied in the next. He's not talking to us. He's talking to a door that won't open. But Dirk graduated. He's in rooms with Drake Cole. The brand can't afford a 600 civil war on the balance sheet. What was once family becomes roster. What was once oath becomes option. Memo's invoice reads, grief for Steve, support for Rondo, years carrying the 600 flag. The industry's reply reads, terms expired. Loyalty here is not a feeling. It's a contract with renewal clauses. And when the quarter closes, sentiment doesn't chart. So he oscillates. Disses that double as distress calls. Apologies that sound like applications. One day he's defending the legacy, next day he's demanding his receipt. It's not clout chasing, it's attachment spiraling. The hardest part about a trauma bond isn't the pain, it's the logic. It always makes sense to the person inside it. And here's the sting. Survival demanded humility, clout demanded volume, but gatekeeping demands patience. Memo brought the first two. He ran out of the third. Cut to black and white clips. Backstage corridors without handshakes. Studio nights without the feature live streams where the chat becomes HR. Stay loyal becomes stay waiting. The trap tightens because both outcomes feel like betrayal. Leaving the family accepting you're no longer family. Pull back to the intersection. Same lights, same quiet. The camera tilts up, looking for a signal that never comes. Breathe. Let the music thin. No answers, only terms and conditions. We drift toward the sky. Hold for the credits. Hold on the last frame from the sky. Freeze. Then crash, zoom to a low-lit mic, a neon chat window flooding the screen. The color comes back cruel. When the world won't honor your pain, you sell it as a punchline. That's the whoops. Not a word, an armor. FYBJ Main pitches the fastball. A dead friend, a lost chain, a label rumor. Memo doesn't flinch, he doesn't rage, he unclenches into comedy. Whoops, it's nihilism you can clip. A soundbite that eats the silence. Did it happen? Whoops. Did it hurt? Whoops. If I laugh first, you can't hurt me second. That's the trick. That's the trap. Timeline scrubbing. Reels, duets, soundboards. Whoops becomes portable pain. The chat spams it like confetti. Every trauma amortized into engagement. Every scar, a sticker pack. Watch the interview back, frame by frame. The mouth smiles, the eyes clock out. He's playing the unbothered troll, but the Steve Drive ache sits behind the iris like a burn that never scabs. Clown makeup you can't wash off because it's digital. This is the last conversion of grief, from oath to option to content. The joke works, until the room goes quiet. Then the echo comes back empty. Whoops. Cut to a green room door that never opens. To a stage light that doesn't tilt his way. To a phone screen reflecting a face that used to be feared and is now trending. Here's the cruel epiphany. Laughter won't save you from the building, but it makes a beautiful jump. He couldn't be crowned as a gangster. He'll be consumed as a comedian. The applause feels like oxygen, until you realize it's canned. Hold on his lips, forming it one last time. The waveform spikes. The comment counter sprints. The heart rate doesn't move. Whoops. Let the music thin. Let the color drain. Back to the intersection under sodium lights, where jokes can't follow. Breathe. Tilt up. Fade toward the credits. Hold on the last whoops. Let it hollow out. Then swap the laugh track for a chamber click that never finds fire. Memo tells the one he hides in bravado. The day Lil Mister had him dead to rights. Mr. Wooga World Op, a cousin to Dirk, A legend stamped in no lackin'. According to Memo, he was caught. No angle, no exit. The kind of close where you measure distance in breath. And then, nothing. A pass. A jam. A cosmic stall. Call it mercy. Call it malfunction. Call it fate flipping a coin and letting it land on its edge. Memo retells it to prove he lived it. See? I was there. I looked through the barrel and blinked second. But the proof curdles into a question he can't bury. Why him spared when Lil Steve didn't? When L.A. Capone didn't? When Javan Boyd didn't? Why does the mascot, the jester, get to leave the scene with a story? This is the Final Destination complex. Every sunrise an error message, every mirror check a pulse check. Surviving becomes a dare. Louder, flashier, riskier. If the universe won't stamp his passport, he'll sneak past the checkpoint with noise. Rack views like body counts. Stack jokes like sandbags. Pretend the click wasn't a verdict deferred. Cut to the memory. A hand steady, a muzzle steady, a breath unsteady. The shot that didn't happen keeps happening in his head. It echoes under sodium lights, hiccups through interviews, hides behind whoops. He laughs to live, but the life that laughs is rented. Calendar pages flutter. Funeral programs thicken. A cursor blinks. A crosswalk counts down. He is performing on a trap door, waiting to see if the last joke buys another minute. If he was spared, it wasn't for free. Hold the intersection, let the clock tick without anyone in frame. Tilt up to the sky that doesn't answer. Fade. Hold the silence from the near miss. Then, tap. A room opens. Avatars light like muzzle flashes without bullets. Memo doesn't fall back. He redeploys. New corner, same war. Clubhouse turns him from court jester to chaos general. No edits, no beat, just breath and bandwidth. He learns the kill switch of conversation. Talk faster, talk louder, never let the floor cool. Every unmute, a strike. Every reset the room, a reload. He weaponizes attention. If love won't arrive, noise will. Algorithmic oxygen. Clip farms eat, reactors feast, titles stack. Memo exposes, Memo responds. Memo crashes. You don't need the high ground when you own the echo. Muna Duke one day, FYBJ Main the next. Alliances like weather. The point isn't peace, it's presence. He crafts a persona built on volatility, the unpredictable element. Solid by declaration, troll by design. Outrage isn't a byproduct, it's the product. Push-pull theater, accusation, denial, remix. He drags the street into a speaker icon and calls it court. Slides his loyalty across a table of strangers for judgment. The room swells. The waveform peaks. Someone screen records the crest. Tomorrow's content is minted. This is how you survive an almost death, by refusing silence, by turning breath into broadcast, by mistaking applause for pulse. The laugh from whoops becomes a siren, always on, always near, always needed. Notification storm, counters spin, thumbnails multiply. And then everything stops. A lock screen, no badges, no buzz, just a black glass mirror and the face it reflects off camera. He waits for the phone to light itself. It doesn't. One more tap, one more room, one more minute bought. Memo learns the algorithm loves a sequel. If Clubhouse was chaos as strategy, this is strategy as ritual. The DJU saga loops like a hook with no verse every week. A remix every clip, a courtroom. DJU, another gatekeeper in a city of revolving doors. Like 16-shot M before him, angles, edits, introductions. When Memo feels the coverage tilt, when the thumbnail smiles at his ops, he hears Betrayal in 4K. So he does what he knows. He floods the zone, lives, rooms, drops. He tries to outtalk the edit. It isn't just media beef, it's the mirror talking back. Memo600 on his beef with DJU. DJU claiming Adam stole. Remo from him. Accusations cross state lines. Names stack on names, the web gets sticky. Who's neutral? Who's eating off his name? Who's smiling in the green room? Who's grimacing in the group chat? Every interview becomes a trench. Every comment section, a firing line. He advances by refresh. Proof of Life mentions minutes watched. He calls it loyalty. It plays like custody. Who owns the narrative? Who gets visitation rights to his image? Underneath, the ghosts echo Lil Steve in the reverb, the imposter in the mirror staring through the ring light. If applause is a pulse, the silence feels like death. So he manufactures heartbeat, even if it's hate. Attention is oxygen. Argument is the tank. The cycle tightens. New ops, same wound, new podcast. Same plea, see me, but on my terms. Control is the fantasy, conflict is the currency, pings, trends, stitches. And when the room's cool and the hosts clock out, he waits for the sound that says he still exists. A single notification taps the dark. Then another loop. After the loop, the ritual, the algorithm, there's the wait. With L.A. Capone gone, Rondo and C-Day locked away, and D. Rose behind bars, Memo isn't just a name in the feed. He's a custodian, a carrier, a witness who refuses to go quiet. The 600 legacy doesn't just live in murals. It lives in his notifications. Cut the noise, and you hear a different rhythm. Studio booths lit by phone screens, chain pendants catching candlelight, empty courts where echoes do the talking. He became the emblem by default and by design. Background extra turned Clubhouse general jester turned erratic broadcaster, a man who learned how to keep a banner flying in a storm built from comments. But legacy is a mirror with two panes. In one, homage, Lil Steve's name spoken with a tremor, the block recited like a prayer, memorials tended like gardens. In the other, the clips, the whoops, the spikes and stitches, conflict as content, clout as currency. Which frame is the truth? Which one will history freeze? He says loyalty. The internet hears performance. Maybe it's both. Maybe the performance is how loyalty survives in an era that only believes what it can replay. He's the friend who still grieves, and the brand that never logs off. The signal and the siren, the myth that keeps revising itself mid-upload. So the question widens. Is he preserving the story or recalibrating it around himself? Is he honoring the fallen or ensuring the world remembers who's still standing? The Memo mythos isn't a statue, it's a live feed. Fluid, contradictory, captivating. A Chicago drill parable still being written in real time. And when the montage fades, murals to memes, warm to cold, the frame settles on a lone silhouette at a sodium-lit intersection. No chorus, just a heartbeat under streetlights. The city inhales. The screen dims. Night. A forked road. Left lane lit by phone screens flickering. Right lane washed in lonely streetlights, wind skims asphalt. Heartbeat under the mix. As of early 2026, Memo600 stands at a crossroads. The pivot to content kept the mic live. Monetized charisma scheduled uploads, relevance rented month to month. Live stream windows stacking, comment floods, studio red light, empty stage with one mic phone close-up, battery in the red. But the algorithm doesn't sleep. To feed it, he edges cliffs. Crash out, spikes that trend, then burn. Authentic street figure, internet clown. The line is a wire, and he's tap dancing on voltage. Laugh, freeze, rewind. Whoops. Flashes as a lower third glitch. Heartbeat ticks louder, then recedes. Stability is a craft. Can he turn chaos into cadence? Package the impulse, keep the soul, cash the check without pawning the legacy? A quiet room. A chair turned toward the wall, studio foam like graveyard rose, fade to a lone booth light. Or do the pressures, imposter whispers, old beefs that never decompose, pull him toward a final flameout, a last loud moment that closes the tab for good? Lil Steve a whisper in the mix, Tay Capone's echo like a far hallway, a mural silhouette shaped like a crown, shadowed by a larger outline, Vaughn's absence as weight. The story is still drafting itself. One argument, one whoops. One contested memory at a time. Captivating, frustrating, significant. Cut to a black screen with a blinking cursor. The cursor hesitates, then doesn't type. At the fork, both roads are lit. One by screens, one by streetlights. Only one leads home. We return to the sodium-lit intersection from before. The city inhales. Hold. Music thins to air. The future isn't written. It's streamed, clipped, and remembered until the night decides what stays. Beat. Cursor blink fades. Slow tilt up toward the dark sky. Prepare transition to end credits.